And it's a beautiful day to have a beautiful day. GM on this beautiful day. Good morning to Web3 with Rodolfo, Seth, and Mando. Tuning live at 10:30, and it's all on Road Radio. It's a beautiful day. Have a beautiful day. GM Road Radio.
Yo, what up, good morning, GMG, Monday, March 20th, 2023, look at that, another beautiful day to have a beautiful day. I got my co-host in the house, Ovi, Mando, and today, behind the scenes, on the YouTube and on Twitter Spaces, we've got NFT Nick, the funniest man in the biz, and I see Pio as well down there on the Twitter Spaces. Pio, I sent you a stream here if you want to join. What a beautiful day. Before we get started, though, real quick, want to wish a happy New Year. You know, happy Nowruz. Salam Mubarak to all my Persian people. Today's the big day, 5:24 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the day and is the time that's gonna hit. So definitely happy New Year to my Persian people. Peace, prosperity, and a lot of love, and much thoughts to my people out there. Ovi, Mando, good morning. I mean, look at this. Damn, wow, look at this YouTube stream. It's stacked.
we got the lads in.
Damn, yo, this is a squad right there. Holy shit. By the way, looks like we need to better our cameras, boys, because they're making us look pretty bad down there.
It's like I'm watching like some kind of like Hollywood film with these two guys here, like the faded background, like super sharp precision, everything.
I only had one ape, guys. I had one ape, and I have this camera. Come on now.
Look at the state of Obi's camera compared to yours.
Yeah. What gives, man?
You look like you're from like the 1970s in that thing right now.
That's the vibe I'm going for, like retro vibes.
Oh my God! All Nick had to do was sell one ape, and he managed to get this whole thing going on. My co-host over here, you know, they sold 72 of them, and we're still, you know, Ovi's still playing from his VHS camcorder. But look, you know, this is how the rich stay rich. You know,
That is true. I did realize that I'm going broke as a result of my financial mismanagement here. So I could learn a little thing or two from these two guys.
Oh my God! Wow!
And
look
all on that punk merch. I saw that you and OSF both sold all your apes and now just going all in on punks.
I like that.
It's not a bad move right now, right? Like the floor on punks is higher than apes at the moment. It's like it's now flipped and it's back in a significant way.
I mean, it's definitely not looking like a bad trade at the moment, you know. So that's for sure, and we're gonna talk about that. But wow, I mean. Talk about a stacked show today. I figured, you know, I heard Nick and Pio had some announcements to make this morning on their show. Sadly, I had to go to a meeting, didn't have time to catch up, and I selfishly asked them to join the show so I could ask them, you know, what's happening at Nifty Portal. You all know Nifty Portal always out there showing love to us at Rug Radio, myself on their show, and so I figured, you know, invite the boys up to talk about what they just dropped. But Mando, Ovi, I mean, what a weekend. You know, we went from American bank crisis to European bank crisis, you know, Ethan Bitcoin still popping, still doing really well, and a whole bunch of stuff to catch up on with FOMC week coming up this week. I would usually go into a market report and whatnot, like we do every morning with DJ's market report for crypto, NFTs, and the macro. But we do have Nick and Pio, so I figured, you know, we may as well start with the boys over here. And while I have him on, just if you're on the Twitter Spaces, you may want to join the YouTube. This is a fun stream. I'm glad we made this happen last second.
You can also do the market report if you want. We'll stick around.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no rush, man. Do run your show. We're just in the background, just witnessing greatness.
All right, well, I'll take that. All right, then without further ado, let's get right into it.
Daily Market Report. Brought to you by Rug Radio.
You guys got all the effects, man.
I don't even really know where to start on the market report. Like, I feel like I've aged about 100 years in the last 2 days. Okay, so when we left on Friday, I guess people didn't really realize how bad a situation Credit Suisse was in. Come Sunday, the Swiss regulators and national banks and authorities basically coerced UBS into buying Credit Suisse. They bought it at a 60% discount to where the shares closed on Friday. So shit must have been really fucking bad. And there's all these different terms and conditions they had to do to buy it. I think they're also giving UBS like $10 billion worth of liquidity as well. But yeah, it sounds like Credit Suisse was basically about to blow up unless it was saved. And there's a lot of back and forth over the weekend. And eventually they agreed on a deal where UBS bought Credit Suisse for, I think, $3.25 billion or 3 billion Swiss francs. So that caused like a knee-jerk rally in the market initially. Futures went up. We obviously all saw the crypto price action over the weekend. I think Bitcoin was at 28.5K. ETH was at 1850. We've since sold off a little bit from that euphoria. I think it's kind of like two things at play here. One thing is that I guess it's good that they managed to strike a deal for CS and UBS. I guess it's bad because it just shows you how bad things really were. And the concern is who else is out there who is deeply and terribly affected by basically what's as simple as the government having increased, the Fed having increased interest rates over the last year or so. So market's kind of like a little bit confused right now. I think the thing to watch out for here really is interest rates. 2-year went all the way back to 3.73%. We're now back up to 3.9. So a lot of volatility there, but we did see a big rally in interest rates. We have the FOMC this week on Wednesday, and the big focus is on whether the Fed will actually continue its path of hiking interest rates. I think the expectation is still for a 25 basis point hike, but there is definitely a school of thought that they could actually pause the hikes and maybe even give some dovish commentary because of everything that's happened. And look, like SVB, they blew up because they had a ton of government bonds that lost a shitload in principal after rates were raised. CS had a whole load of issues, and this is one of the things that basically pushed them over the edge. And there's First Republic is another one as well. And there's definitely a lot of other banks out there. I think I saw some tweet which is like approximately 181 other banks and financial institutions are affected by this increase in interest rates. So there's a huge like worry of this big like cascading effect now that everything that happened in the last week or so. So the Fed's under a lot of pressure to actually pause the hiking, or at least communicate some kind of light at the end of the tunnel, some dovishness before it creates a bigger catastrophe. And I think we're just where we were last week, where I was like, I think the lesser of two evils is actually inflation. And you probably would rather have sticky inflation for a couple of years than you would for an entire collapse in the banking system. And everyone's like, well, why the fuck's crypto rallying? And if you told me all this stuff would happen 2 weeks ago, I would have told you ETH would be at 1K and Bitcoin would be at like 16K or something like that. But crypto is rallying on three different reasons, three very strong reasons for the narrative we're in right now, which is number one, banks failing. Number two, the prospects of the Fed pausing rate hikes or maybe even pivoting at some point this year. And number three, the prospect of actually inflation coming back next year. And remember, like, everyone's like, oh, Bitcoin's an inflation hedge. And then last year, I was like, oh, well, it's obviously not an inflation hedge. And I think everyone completely misunderstands that concept. Like, Bitcoin is not an inflation hedge. Bitcoin is a very good trade when you have inflation and low interest rates. And that's what we had in 2021. That's why we saw this huge rally in Bitcoin, ETH, altcoins, NFTs, you name it. But in 2022, we had inflation, but we had increasing interest rates. We had rising interest rates, and then crypto got destroyed because risk assets get hurt there. So we're now in a situation where you could have you still have inflation, and inflation could probably go higher as a result of potentially lower interest rates, which is a very, very good dynamic for crypto. And on top of that, you have this idea and notion of banks failing and all the Bitcoin maxis tweeting what they're tweeting and painting this picture. So it is like arguably maybe even heading into like an even stronger environment for crypto than we saw in 2021. It's not like great for risk assets. It's not great for the world. And like, if you have a 20% backup in the S&P 500, which is very likely, it's very tough to imagine crypto not dropping in line with some of that at least. But, I think those are some of the explanations that I have at least to explain why we're seeing this crypto rally. And to be honest with you, why I think it probably has more legs to it as well.
Yeah, I mean, we saw quite the rally this weekend. Pretty impressive. I mean, it was pretty cool to see ETH kind of pass through 1800 finally. We've been waiting for it for a minute, and Bitcoin over 28,000 USD here. What do you think happens this week, Ovi? Obviously, it's a very big week. We've been talking about this next Fed meeting for a month now, right? So this is it. I believe what is it tomorrow?
So it's a 2-day meeting. It concludes on Wednesday, and that's when we get the interest rate decision.
So on Wednesday. So what is the best? Yeah, it says March 21, 22. But what's the best option? What do we want here?
Right now, the market is expected. There's a 65% probability assigned to them increasing rates by 25 basis points, and that's I think what most people are expecting. I think the base case is they do that, but they'll probably give some very dovish commentary like, we're increasing rates as planned, but we're now at a terminal rate. Maybe we're seeing inflation come down, and obviously the banking industry is a concern, so we're going to be taking all that into account in our further decision making. I think that's the sort of thing they could say.
They're the same space, right, at this stage. Like,
oh, Amanda, I think your mic is playing this games again.
all right.
I still think the Fed will pause, which is a bit more of a contrarian view. I think Goldman put something out saying they expect them to pause. I think Nomura has them actually like cutting rates, but those two are definitely outliers. I think they will pause because it doesn't really make a difference whether they can buy themselves time from pausing. I think they can pause for a month. They're 25 basis points away from their terminal rate, and everyone's like, oh well, like, you know, this is Powell going against his word and all this kind of stuff. Like they're not going against their word if they pause. All they've communicated is that we're going to get to our terminal rate. We're 25 basis points away from it, and they can still do that hike later in the year if they want to, right? They don't have to do everything. They don't have to do everything every month. That's not like what they've specifically communicated. So I think it's in their interest to actually not hike, but we'll see what happens. The ECB obviously hiked by 50 basis points last week, and Lagarde would have, given Powell a phone call before making that decision. So you would expect them to hike, but we'll see.
All right, I guess we'll see what happens there. Mando, do you have some thoughts on this?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
No, I think it's still broken.
We're familiar with this, Farouk. This is
Audio issues is just like part of this show. You just can't make it work on any show.
Eddie, you have to. I mean, this morning I remember texting y'all because this is your big announcement, and you guys like all your team. It was like from Kicks to Signal to Nick to Pio, not right, plugged into right mic. I thought it was hilarious. It's what happens to us all the time. For us, it's different. Mando, is the black duck part of the crew here. He's the one out of us three that usually has the audio issues, but it's funny because he's got all the best equipment.
A new mic just doesn't work.
He's got the Shure like MV set. We've all got the same stuff. I went for the good stuff right away. And
dude, I've watched like professional radio shows and podcasts where like legitimately this continues to be a source of like struggles and issues. Like these are people that have been doing in radio for a decade or longer, and they're the professionals deal with it as well. I think it's just a situation. What Mando just pulled was a professional move, though. He went to the backup, man. So like you got a backup, and that's all that. If you're able to pull that off, dude, you're pro.
That's the thing. You need an insurance policy at all times because it will fuck up.
Yeah, like swaps or something like that. But why didn't the banks do that, huh?
Exactly.
Oh my! I mean, Nick, I've been seeing you a lot on the show in the morning, talk about charts and stuff. You've become quite the chartist. What are you expecting this week? For what's NFT Nick's read on the market coming on FOMC week?
Technicals are difficult. I'll tell you the thing that I've been looking at. You want a technical pick here? Dogecoin. I've been watching Dogecoin. So like, right, market's top when Dogecoin is pumping. And we already saw like the beginning of that, but it hasn't pumped on this specific run. And I'm like, every time I see an opportunity that's sitting there, I'm like, maybe I should take this. And I never trade. I don't trade Dogecoin. Like I've never traded Dogecoin, but now I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, okay, well, if Bitcoin is going to run, if ETH is going to run, then inevitably we got to get to Doge season, right? So like, should we not be in for like a nice 50% to 100% gain on Dogecoin at some point? This is not financial advice. I want to be clear. but that's one that I've been looking at, and it has a nice solid support line there. You can even just look at it. It looks pretty nice. So I'm just like, all right, maybe I should be buying Doge. So that was one of the things that I was saying. The ETH level is really solid as well, where I feel like, well, it actually the day or the weekly is a bad technical position. We bounced off of a level that I have, which is 1791. The candles on the weekly just doesn't look good. So we do see resistance off of that. So I'd be looking for that to get over 1790. And I'd be curious what like Mando and OSF think, like in terms of like, do you actually think, I feel like the macro here, we're not out of the woods with like, it doesn't feel stable. And generally crypto seems to like correlate with like the market itself. Like we're always like, oh, has it decoupled? Has crypto finally decoupled? And now it is the currency of choice for global stability. And we're going to trade oil and Bitcoin now. So like, I'm just wondering, like, do you guys think that we're like out of the wood, or do you see more instability through like the rest of at least Q1, Q2? Well, Q1 is about to end. Q2, I guess, like, do we see more instability? Or are you all like making a bet on crypto here?
I think I'm hoping that this works at the moment.
Yeah,
It's
you're
working.
good. Yeah,
we
you're
can
good.
hear you.
I think macro is not going to, in my view, I think it's going to be very, very volatile for the next few months. Like, yeah, the central banks are stepping in right now, but I think this is like, it's a very uneasy step in. They can't do what they did during COVID, where they just printed and printed and printed without massive ramifications. And this kind of just feels like 10 to 15 years worth of other problems all now starting to come home to like roost. Like those chickens are coming home to roost, and there's very little ammo for them to actually do what they needed to do for the last 10, 15 years. So I think we're in a very, very precarious position for macro. It's a strange one for crypto, because I know what you're saying. Like me and Obi had this conversation today about Bitcoin, ETH, alts. Like, do we get an alt season? Like, for example, Bitcoin's up 70% this year. ETH is up 45%. Alts, they're mixed, particularly over the last 30 days, over the last 60 days. A lot of them are down by quite a lot. And that's been a perplexing scenario, because in the past, like big moves up in Bitcoin and ETH, normally you have an alt season, everything flies. This is good. I think this could be that idea that you look for that altcoin that does a 10x, I think is going to be a much more difficult trade this year than it has been in previous years. I think that's going to be kind of the graveyard of a lot of things, because I think this feels like a flight to Bitcoin being gold because the world's about to end, rather than the Nasdaq's flying, let's buy some altcoin that everyone can buy into. So I think we could be in a scenario here where Bitcoin and ETH actually increase their dominance, even if we like the market cap of crypto goes up, and that's like an unhealthy rally. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's, well, not an unhealthy rally, but it points to the idea that macro is very, very ugly, and I think that's what you've seen for the last 30 days. And I'm honest, I think that could be the graveyard of a lot of people this year, thinking, you know, oh, I'll buy some Cardano, or buy some like one of these top 20, top 50 coins, thinking they're going to do a 5x. And actually they could do nothing and even go down, even though Bitcoin goes to 40, 50K. Like, people aren't buying Bitcoin because they think they're buying Bitcoin because they think it could be the end of the world, you know, and that's not a situation where you want to own some shitcoin. So I think that's the difference in narrative. I think this time versus the last. So I still think we'll be very, very wary in altcoins versus Bitcoin, even though it's run a lot versus the altcoins out there. And like, arguably, if you're like a swing trader, you might say, oh, maybe that move is less aggressive over the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Well, Mando, real quick. I mean, I was thinking that I was going to deploy a lot of capital in a Jizz spaceship, which was the new altcoin that I heard about, and I thought that was like a flight to safety right now. Are you telling me I was way off base?
Well, I mean, back in 2021, I think that would have been a no-brainer, right? Bitcoin up 50%, Jizz Space Coins going up like 1,000x, and everyone would have bought it. Everyone would have bought it. This doesn't feel like that time. I actually thought about it this weekend a little bit more, and I was just like, this happens probably once every 3 or 5 years, like this big change in policy. And so this is the time where you like zoom out, you work out what's been destroyed over the last 3 or 5 years and what could really shift if policy starts changing. So although Bitcoin feels a bit toppy or ETH feels a bit toppy versus everything else, if you zoom out, it really isn't. And the same way, if you zoom out on things like stocks or bonds, all this sort of stuff, stocks could go a lot lower, like a lot lower. They could go down another 20, 30, 40%, in my opinion. Bonds similarly could gap in pretty aggressively here. There's a bunch of different trades. If you take a step back and think like, right, well, what's happened over the last 3 years or two years, let's say, when they started to change policy, and what do you think happens now if that does a 180? And I think those are the things you should set up for. So I would just set yourself up for like a medium-term move rather than like catching that 1 week move. Yeah.
So what is the medium term move then? Like, and what are you all doing with your Bored Ape money? Like, where is that? Where are you investing it?
These guys, we're quite the Ethereum max on this stage at this.
Yeah, just holding in ETH. I mean,
Really?
Bitcoin obviously would have been the better trade,
Yeah.
but I think that's half right. I personally think you'll see altcoins rally if Bitcoin doubles from here. I think it's hard not to see that, but I don't know if Bitcoin doubles from here. Like, I'm still a bit 50-50 and just like holding it in ETH. I think it's just an easy trade. ETH is still down like 65% from the highs, right? Like, it's just the easiest. All I did was like I bought Fidenza, a Punk, like some piece of art that I've always wanted to own and really like, and then kept like 95% of it in ETH, and I'm just going to hold that. I think it's the easiest thing to do without, without losing your head. I think.
I'd be losing my head. I'm gonna be honest. Like, if I was holding that much in ETH, I'd probably like be losing sleep at night. Like, just straight up. Like, I can't. That's
volatility, baby.
Dude, I had a punk and an ape, and I was like losing sleep, and I'm like, I gotta get rid of the ape, like one or the other. So I just like sold the ape, and I'm like, I had I waited 3 more days, I would have made another $20,000, and I'm just like, this is.
I saw that. I love the VR Punk. I've been looking at this VR Punk all weekend long. It's just so nice. Like those are really, really dope. I think, like, honestly, what's funny is like when ETH went to like 17 something, it was down to like 16.20 the other day. I was like, yo, Mando, like, Obi, what the fuck do I do here? Because we went deep on ETH, and Mando goes here for the volatility, sends me like his ETH, and I was like, all right, bet. I'm good. I shut down the computer.
You nearly panicked. I think I put in the chat, no, like you.
He was like, no. I was like, do I sell my ETH? And Mando said, no. Sends me the weekly chart candles. And I'm like, yes, sir. 2 days later, it's at 18:30. And I'm here like, oh, yeah. So I'm riding with the boys. That's what I do. I tag along to these two guys because my co-hosts are geniuses. And I take all their FA or NFA. I mean, they give me FA. They give you guys NFA. But no, but it's been great. It's been a good year. I mean, Bitcoin though. You know what, Pio? I know you're quite the Bitcoin guy. I gotta say that was about a week ago or so. I was telling the boys actually I was looking more and more into Bitcoin. It's something I wrote in the chat with Mando and Ovi. I'm like, Bitcoin got a lot of its narrative back with the banking crisis, right? Like the thing is, for the longest time, ETH had taken over the narrative for me because it was the internet's money, right? It's the internet's currency. It's the currency of the culture. For me, that's what Ether is. It's a culture's currency, right? And so like we acquire like culture, art, a bunch of different things with ETH. We don't use Bitcoin for that. I know now there's Ordinal, so it's a little different, but and there's certain things there. But the thing is, for me, it was that. But now with the banking crisis, even me as someone who's obviously like we operate in ETH, Regulators an Ethereum company, so we're fully involved in ETH, my assets, everything. But it's just like I was looking more and more at Bitcoin. I was telling the boys, I'm like, I'm kind of down to almost swap like most, if not half, if not most of it, like into Bitcoin for the short term, thinking that there's this narrative being played out. And then we have Balaji, who's the new main character in crypto. I mean, this guy, I heard you say this morning, Pio, like he's going on a press run. And he's all over, right? I mean, what do you think? Pio, I know you're quite the Bitcoin guy.
Yeah, I mean, look, Balaji, it's just funny that he decided he wanted to blow up the way he did we already know because we did we offered 50 grand to anybody that would talk about FTX during the FTX debacle. You know, when you offer 50 grand on Twitter, you'd be surprised. A lot of people will like the tweet and retweet the tweet. Like it'll get a lot of impressions. So Balaji offering literally $1 million. Can't say I'm terribly surprised that, he's popping off. Look, the narrative with Bitcoin, the fundamentals of Bitcoin haven't changed. That
Leo,
also
you got to reset your roadcaster also because it's coming in.
Is my audio fucked?
How do you fix this, please?
You turn off the roadcaster
This is
and
what
then you
happens
turn
to
it back
me.
on.
Oh wait, what do you
Is
do
it?
usually, Nick? Do you turn it
I
off?
turn off the roadcaster and turn it back on.
How about
oftentimes
now?
what you gotta
How's
do.
my audio?
That's pretty good. Yeah.
It's okay. Did you hear what I said before about Balaji and stuff?
Yeah,
we heard.
How did you fix
Okay.
that? I need to get you in the DMs because that happens to me daily.
Yeah, I don't know. I went in and changed the setting. I'll DM you about it, Mando. But anyway, look, remember that the Bitcoin narrative hasn't changed and Bitcoin fundamentals haven't changed and Ethereum's fundamentals haven't changed, right? So they're both what they always, have been. Obviously, Ethereum, I think people would tell you or people would have opinions that it's evolving at a faster clip than Bitcoin. That's actually one of the big bull cases for it. Obviously, ordinals bring something to Bitcoin. But my thing is, I just think about, okay, we're a bunch of NFT trading individuals that will, use a MetaMask to swap in and out of X amount of different coins and buy a new NFT collection that gets staked for this and it earns this and you burn this. And, we're really kind of far ahead of the curve compared to the general population. There's still like the Saudi sovereign fund, which to my knowledge has not bought crypto assets. I mean, I could be wrong.
They're coming for our bags.
They're gonna buy Bitcoin first. Like, spoiler alert, everybody. They're gonna buy Bitcoin.
Which art block are they buying next?
Exactly. I'm sorry if I'm making you so triggered in the audience, but the Saudi sovereign fund is gonna buy Bitcoin first. So the thing is like, I just like to think about these things in terms of what they are. If you want to do Bitcoin's the digital gold, Bitcoin's the safest thing that you can buy in the whole crypto ecosystem. That's what makes me able to sleep at night. And, Nick said something to me the other day where he asked if I was like overexposed to Bitcoin. I was like, I don't even know what that means. We just went from the 69K to literal 14K was the bottom, like that correction. I didn't feel weird at all. And I'm at the point where when Bitcoin goes up, I get pissed because I'm like, it's going up and I don't have enough. And when it goes down, I get excited because I'm like, all right, cool, I can buy it for a better price. If you can, I'm not that way with any NFT, including like my Mutant Ape went from 27K to 10K back to 27K. That ride is way more gnarly than any Bitcoin ride because like Bitcoin's Bitcoin, ETH is ETH. And NFTs, there's a whole lot more risk layered on top of those things.
You know what ETH is? ETH is ultrasound money, baby. I mean, we're at 66,000 ETH burnt this year. So since we proof of stake. So that's pretty wild when you think about it, right? Well, they're coming for him, Mando. They're coming for him. The Portuguese police, they caught him.
Already, they got me already.
It's over. They caught him. Hold on.
In case of an investigation by a federal entity or similar, I do not have any involvement with this group or with the people in it.
I just have to.
Taxes, man. I'm fine.
Probably added by a third party. I do not support any member of the actions of this group.
Yes, I do. On speed dial. Literally, it's on the blue button. So I have the roadcaster now. You can set up your sounds. Yeah, I have like everything set up for any jingle you want.
but was there literally an alarm outside, Mando?
I live in central Lisbon, so there's quite a lot of
It happens that often that Farouk has a sound effect to acknowledge that's crazy.
It's nice. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So we have this little running inside joke here with Mando moving and always having roadcaster issues. And then forgetting his cables in France, and then it never making it Portugal even 6 months later. And you saw
the photo. You saw the photo on the weekend. Beautiful place to live.
Tough life
by the beach. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, tough. I'll take the
rough with the smooth.
15 degrees here. It's freezing fucking cold in Montreal. You still can't go out without a Canada Goose jacket and a fucking scarf. I'm dying out here. It's so cold, and I just want it to be warm already. But it is what it is. So, anyways, do we think? So we're just quickly on the Balaji. Wait, you have a way of saying it, Pio. I heard you correct Nick a lot this morning.
I didn't know. I wasn't correcting him. Look, I'm big on like my name is Pio, right? So I've had a lifetime of people butchering my name. I don't even at Starbucks. I just make up a name. I say Peter because at Starbucks they just cook my name every single time, right? So I'm big on pronouncing people's names. Farouk, your name, a lot of people say Farouk, and I'm like, I've heard Farouk say his name. I just go off of what people say their name is, and I was like, I've heard Farouk say his name, and it sounds like Farouk, so I'm gonna say Farouk. I've heard Balaji say his name, and he was on the All In podcast. He was the first outside guest on the All In podcast ever, and they went into like how to say his name, so it's Balaji.
There you go. So Balaji made a bet, right? Well, go ahead, Nick.
No,
He's still cracking.
your audio still is cracking. Yeah.
My audio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say, man.
Mando's probably
I'm gonna join from Firefox. That's what I'm gonna do. That's why.
Mando is probably so happy right now. Nick, you have no idea how Mando is probably so happy right now that you guys are having similar issues than him. At least one of you guys, because now he doesn't feel outed. Because Ovi and I literally laugh about this every morning.
My audio is about as bad as Ovi's camera. Let's just put it that way.
Yes, let's put it that way.
Gives a specific effect that I'm going
I mean,
for.
I can't even see you. I can't even see you at this stage.
I do have to say that Ovi's camera is definitely special. I mean, I don't know where you're at with the camera. It looks like you're literally like locked up somewhere in the bunker.
That's just the room, dude. It's not the camera.
He's got his like this like TV in the back with his artwork. It's just so funny. It's like it just looks. I just love it.
There's nothing else.
Oh my. Anyways, there was a big bet, right? This is why we're talking about Balaji. Is he made what is it? He made $1 million bet. Is that what I read over the weekend? If I'm not mistaken, that was the tweet that started everything. I will take the bet. You buy 1 Bitcoin, I will send 1 million USD. This is 40 to 1 odds as Bitcoin is worth $26,000. The term is 90 days. All we need is mutually agreed custodian who will still be there to settle this in the event of digital dollar devaluation. If someone knows how to do this with smart contract, we can do it on chain so I can send you USDC. If you won't do that, name a custodian. Hashtag #BitSignal. So that was quite the meme this weekend, on top of being quite the topic of conversation. Mando, is Bitcoin reaching $1 million United States dollars in 90 days?
No, like clearly not. Not a fucking chance in hell. Like Bitcoin would have a market cap of 20 trillion then. And even if you're like mega bullish Bitcoin, this whole asset class is not big enough to support 20 trillion. I'm telling you that right now. We do not have institutional demand for it. Like there's not enough retail players. Like the onboarding processes, we just do not have the infrastructure for. I mean, I have to assume that the market cap of crypto, if Bitcoin's at 20 trillion, is got to be like 25 to 30 trillion. There is just no way. You would need to have huge institutional funds coming in and doing that sort of a move. So you can be really. I think I follow Ryan Selkis, who runs Masari, who's really smart. He put a kind of more tepid, but agreed with Balaji. Am I saying it right? Or Balaji? Yeah.
We got to get him on the show. I mean, man, that would be sick.
And I really respect him. He has a very, he's just a really smart guy. Like you listen to this guy speak for 2 hours. He has a very interesting thoughts about the creation of nation states, the actual use of crypto, the idea that we're kind of returning to a bit of gold standard. I get it. I get that this is super bullish for Bitcoin. I get that you could have, as Obi said, 100 plus banks, 200 banks. This affects all banks globally. So this isn't just, in my eyes, it's probably thousands of banks rather than 200. And you could have a situation where you have a large amount of inflows going into Bitcoin. But the idea that it's going to go to $1 million is just not going to happen in 90 days. I think it could easily go to 50, I think, and I think it could maybe push to close to the
Pio likes that. Pio's eyes just went wide open.
Well, I just think about my mom. My mom owns 1 Bitcoin, and she is down on it because she was like moving with concrete feet. I was telling her to buy it at like 17 grand, and her cost basis is higher than we're at now. But I think if she saw it go to like 50 or 60K, she'd be like, oh. Like she's never invested in anything before, so I feel like that would be
I was like, my mom took my Bitcoin this weekend at brunch. I was like, Mom, this is the time. She's like, yeah, I'm trying to buy an apartment. I'm like, yo, Mom, I'm like, park your money in Bitcoin. She's like, I'm trying to use my money for as long as I'm alive right now. I'm like, yeah, that's fine, Mom. Like, you have like a lot of years in you. Like, you could buy a little Bitcoin.
I put out a similar tweet this weekend, which is like, when things become more liquid, the upside naturally goes down. Like Bitcoin doing that sort of a move in 90 days just doesn't happen because your mom owns a Bitcoin. She wants to sell it.
It happens if the Saudis buy
like
Bitcoin.
Everyone, like when it becomes that big and everyone has it, and suddenly they're up 40x. Yes, everyone fucking sells it. So even if you think it's going there, it's like there's just no chance. But that doesn't mean that you can't really agree with his sentiment and really agree that we will see. We could very easily see an all-time high this year now, which I didn't think before. Well,
that's hot.
Months ago.
I like that statement.
And I think I maybe we do push on from there slightly. I don't think it will be like 2021, as I just said before. Like I don't think this is one where if Bitcoin and OSF is kind of disagreeing with me on that, but like I don't think if Bitcoin goes to 69K, we have Dogecoin at a $25 billion market cap. I don't think we have half of the coins with tens of billions of dollar market cap. I think this would be a Bitcoin-led rally because the world's financial system is proving to be a bit of it's not even a sham. This has been around for hundreds and thousands of years, the idea of fractional banking. But the idea that it's being exposed in such a public way again, and that this most probably kicks the can down the road for inflation, for the idea that we would probably go back to a QE style environment. That's the sort of environment where Bitcoin can gas, but I just don't think it goes to 1 million. But that's not to say that I don't disagree with him with the sentiment.
I mean, it seems like the narrative is heavy Bitcoin led and ETH just follows along with it. So they come together. I kind of see what you're saying with regards to altcoins. You kind of made Nick sad about that. He's deep in Dogecoin, I hear sources.
Doge actually has
I haven't bought it yet
versus some of the others. But I would say that if you're owning some remember when this happened, all the other L1s had a big move, fucking Solana, Avalanche, fucking Phantom. They all were tens of billions of dollars. That will not happen if this happens.
The Dogecoin thesis was simple. Easy on our team went to Disney World and did some on the street interviews, and he was like, "Can you name a crypto coin for $1?" basically. And the one that everyone came back with was always Dogecoin. Like it's the one that people know. And I think I genuinely think it is as simple as that. Like it's people just hear it, they know it, and they're like, "I'm just gonna buy some Doge." Like. So I don't think it's ever going to be worthless as a result of that. I don't think that it's like I wouldn't put the majority of my portfolio in Dogecoin, but I'll take a flyer bet that it goes up at 10x at some point, and like, hey, maybe that ends up happening. I feel like NFTs, it's a similar sort of thing. Like you have this like sort of asymmetric, I think is the correct way of saying it, like upside potential here. If you get into the right one. So it's sort of like, hey, if I can get exposure to that, then I'm gonna get exposure to that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, we'll see what happens with the coins, especially this week. I mean, I'm hoping this. I mean, look, I'm for the culture, so I want Balaji to be right. So we want that $1 million Bitcoin. That was for sure send ETH, right? OV 50K ETH, let's go, or 40K. What's our target?
40K.
40K ETH, baby. We're gonna manifest it, even if it takes 30 years. Someone said OV fell asleep. I'm dead. OV, $1 million Bitcoin. Is it happening?
I think it can go a lot higher than people realize it can. Do I think it can go to $1 million? Yes. Do I think it can happen in 90 days? Yes. Why not?
Wow. Let's go! You got it.
I'm just adding fuel to the fire here.
It's the biggest fuel fire I've ever fucking seen.
I genuinely think if enough people say it can happen. I genuinely believe it.
It's the single-handedly most
I'm going to
important.
say it.
I'm gonna play you guys one of the single most important videos in the history of crypto. Okay, and that's something everybody's got to know. At all.
Guys, respect the pump. I respect the pump in all assets. Why? Because it's kind of like karma. You know, the power of the pump always comes back to you if you respect the pump of other people. It's crazy, but I have this belief that whatever pumps, you have to pay respect. Because otherwise, if you like, oh my God, this scam coin is pumping again. Actually, you are kind of rejecting the pump from your life. Maybe it's a bit out there, you know, woo, but we all gotta believe in something. And I do believe in the power of the pump. It's kind of like, you know, let the pump be with you. I went to bed yesterday. I told you guys on Twitter. Good night and let the pump be with you. Okay, this is how I see. It's like this force. It's like this force that is all around us. And if you are really inviting the pump into your life, it will come.
There you go. So what you heard earlier just now is Ovi inviting the pump into his life, and he's gonna bring it to him, right? And on the other hand, Mando is not really inviting the pump into our lives right now. And so we absolutely must do that. Yes, Kevin, may the pump be with you. We absolutely love to see. But anyways, that's a lot of coin talk. But again, we kind of knew that the Bitcoin and coin talk would take the majority of the space today. But let's talk about our favorite thing. That's NFTs. Oh no, that's the wrong one.
Who is the man, macro daddy of the land? Me? Can you dig it?
Oh,
Nick thought it was him. You know, damn.
Yeah, we actually call for you every single day on the show, and you just don't turn up. So I come in there.
250. We've been running at 250 days. I think since 250 days we've been calling for you, Nick, but you've never showed up. And we had this macro daddy of the land jingle ready for you, and you know you just haven't been showing up. So we've had to go to Mando instead. And his his half of his mic. So. Mando, what's happening in NFT land? You know, because I know there's some stuff happening on the Nifty portal site for NFTs, and we'll get to that right now. But what's happening on your end, Mando? What are you seeing? Because it doesn't look so good.
It doesn't look so good. That's true. It definitely has not been a great 30 days, 7 days, or even weekend for NFTs. Feels like most things are down again over the weekend. If you look on a 7-day chart on DGens, I think we're probably coming in about 10 to 15% lower, kind of across the board. It's just a bit of a bloodbath out there, and I don't really think there's anything more to say. And the narratives have kind of fallen away from a lot of the major projects from the last 18 months, and that's going to have some ramifications, I think, over the short term. Alternatively, CryptoPunks have kind of regained the narrative. We talk about like what has the narrative at one stage, and it feels as though what initially started with Punks OTC moving over to Blur to trade CryptoPunks there has meant there's been a bit more trading. All the market makers kind of got involved. I saw Franklin now, and it's like 25 of them or something. And then that meant that, a lot of people started looking at CryptoPunks again, and CryptoPunks have moved from being a stable coin at around 65 for 6 months to now moving towards 75. And a lot of the action is happening at the floor, which never really happens with CryptoPunks ever. So the fact that the floor is moving up is pretty impressive. And maybe that looks right. There's still a lot of like dormant wallets, I would still say, in CryptoPunks. You can see that whenever you like look at who the seller is. You even showed me one today or yesterday, which is like, there are some sellers out there.
197 bucks.
100 plus. Like, there are some big whales in CryptoPunks. So sometimes it can move slower, let's say, than other collections. But good to see, and like rare CryptoPunks are trading. Like it feels as though there's a lot trading at the moment. And
that's wild. Did you see that blur wall there is right now? There's a wall of 100-something punks at 75 ETH. And it's actually insane to have seen this weekend how many punks were wrapped and sent to Blur. Like you can, so when you go through the punks website, right, you can see all the activity here, and the amount of all the green stuff is transfers, and a lot of this weekend's activity was actually punks getting just wrapped and sent to trade on Blur here. And there's a bid wall of like, look at this, 156 size. Whoops. there, 156 size. There's 11.6 thousand ETH in there, and then 9.6K ETH at 74.78, at 74.79. I mean, this is insane. There's like someone saying earlier, there's like something like 37,000 ETH of total bid volume on punks. It's absolutely incredible. It's wild what's going down. So, I mean, it's a great time if you have a floor punk that you've been trying to like kind of like upgrade or get something that you may like better. There's
So that's how many is listed.
What?
Wow, I thought that was the bid wall, but the sell wall is like huge as well.
There's a massive sell wall. Yeah, there's a massive sell wall. Yeah, that's listed. So there's a massive sell wall at 75. That's what people have been talking about a lot.
Who owns these?
It's just a bunch of people moved them over to I don't know who owns these per se. I think a lot of traders just got involved.
It's me.
It's there you go. There you go. It's Nick. But you know what's crazy is what was I gonna say? I saw this thread explaining why like this happening, and like this guy was explaining like from the point of view of he was explaining this from the point of view of a farmer, and apparently it's like just the best collection to farm. Like 0% fees. There's obviously it's punks. Like I know he was explaining exactly the play by play as per why that person was farming crypto punks, and it was pretty wild. I'm gonna try and find the thread, but it was quite interesting to see it happening. So of course a lot of farming happening there, but you love to see punks selling at that price. But I don't know if there was been any big sales. There was a big bid on the ape punk again, but that was not enough. It was like 1,200 ETH. So you're looking at I think that's half the ether price that punks have actually been trading at. But I don't know much more about it's this one. There you go. Let me try and share it over here. Boom. This guy, it's the famous vape ape. And yeah, 1.4K ETH bid. It's still outstanding bid on it by Punks OTC. You know what's wild with Punks is that when you put a bid on the actual website, you have to lock the ETH in as well. So it's like you have to actually have the 1,400 ETH. It's there. It's like you have to let it sit there. You can't just put a bid in and whatnot. So it's actually wild. I mean, Mando, you're calling for like 90, 100 ETH pump. What are you thinking here? I haven't seen you pick one yet, but I saw Ovi definitely pick a banger up.
Yeah, look, I'd made 3 predictions, which is I thought ETH would go to 2,500. I thought the S&P would hit. This is just a hit at once, right? I think the ETH would hit 2,500 at one stage, and the S&P will hit 3,200, which is down 10, 20%, or 20% from here. And I thought punks would get to 90. And I think that out of the 3 is probably the least, is probably the easiest. I think punks could hit 90. They could probably hit 100, I think, this year. I think punks are like the Bitcoin of NFTs, right? Like they are... People love that narrative, and if Bitcoin's got the narrative
now,
yeah, someone's got them. If Bitcoin's got that narrative, punks similarly have that narrative right now, and I could very easily see that being a strong one this year.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, Nick, you're quite the punk. Ever since I remember the big PFP swap, and now you've officially sold the ape. I think last week.
Dude,
what do you think of this?
It was a historical moment, actually, in all of history when I swapped my PFP to a punk. A lot of people will remember that day. The selling of the ape at the Pico bottom is also going to be, over the past couple months, is also going to go down as a historical event. In terms of the punk move, I'm excited about it. I mean, frankly, eventually... these end up being, I think price goes up. This is just hands down one of the, if not the strongest collection in all of NFTs, especially when it comes to like collectibles. It is the iconic PFP project. And I think that's going to remain the case. And like Mando and OSF have mentioned, is that one, you still have stale wallets. So like, I don't know what the percentage is that's actually active on here. Like, are 2,000 missing? I don't know the exact number. And then you also just have an incredible, the diamond handedness across this collection is significant. And I'd also say that you have institutional exposure in a major way to CryptoPunks, which is why the floor is so damn solid. It's been basically one of the it's been like a stable coin relative to ETH throughout all this market volatility. And I think that just fares incredibly well for whenever we have a bull run. Whenever the next bull run happens, punks are going to be one of the stronger items. That said, it's kind of like the Bitcoin of the space. So I think that you could see relative to like the same way that we have altcoin season as it compares to Bitcoin, I think we see alt NFT season as it applies relative to punks. And there's no doubt that it could be apes or another one that ends up launching that ends up temporarily usurping punks. But look, they're iconic, man. You got to have one. And I feel like the number of them that are out there is still limited. And if you're going to buy into NFTs, you got to acknowledge the punks and say, hey, this collection is here to stay. So yeah.
Hell yeah. I agree. I mean, I'm pretty dead set on that. I looked at it on a weekend. I love when punks get exciting because you just tend to get lost on the website. I don't know for you guys, but I just find it so much fun to like dig in. And like with Ovi this weekend, we're like sending each other different punks that we like or like traits, and then you play with combinations. And even if like 2 years later, now a little over 2 years into the space, I'm still doing the same thing. I'll go through the website, I dig, I find this punk that I like, and obviously like maybe I can buy it or maybe I can never afford it even, but like I just find it so fun to just dig into it. I mean, Pio, you know, when are you making the big switch?
I wish I bought them when they were 50K like Nick did. I also wish I sold like my Coda for $100,000 like I could have and all that stuff. But
It is what it is.
I want to get a punk. I buy in hook, line, and sinker. I'm in for the punk thing. I just don't have like that level of capital ready to rock. Like a 6-figure NFT buy right now would be a gnarly thing for me to do. I'm just really focused on obviously like building our stuff. I just sold my mutant last week, so I ended up selling my mutant. Probably a dumb move, but you know, we'll see.
Money's money.
We'll see. Nick, you looks like you want to say something.
Yeah, I got a quick question. I'm trying to figure out what this commenter Noah Bolinoski has an obsession with my earlobes, and I can't really figure out what it is. But I'm also wondering, like, were you born to a pasta dish? Like Bolinoski sounds like a pasta dish or something like that. I don't know. Maybe with some meat and cheese or something in there.
Maybe a Polish pasta dish. Throw some pierogies in there or something.
I mean, the obsession.
Bolinoski.
Noah's obsession for earlobes has been something on the show fairly recently.
Oh,
I mean,
okay. So it's an inside joke that I was not aware of.
I don't know. I mean, you know, honestly, it started with an obsession for Mando's earlobes, and now I guess
some serious earlobes.
Yeah,
Oh,
you should
really?
check earlobes. I think we all have the same headset too.
It does turn into a bit of a strange term when the lobes start getting out.
Yeah, the lobes. We've been talking about lobes a lot.
The tone of the show really changes.
Yeah. You know, it's I mean, Mando's lobes are responsible for this conversation. It's been
Why?
Yeah, and it tends to detract the conversation quite a bit. But yes, on the punks. I mean, we're just waiting for our boy Mando to make the big leap of faith. I mean, Ovi grabbed quite the punk 2 weeks ago or last week. I forgot already, but earlobe king. Oh, Jesus Christ. But yeah, I guess we'll see what happens on that front. I mean, surely, like, with all this farming going on, there has to be some sort of like retracement at some point from them, right? Or is this just gonna keep going? Because like ETH has been up, USD's been up, ETH has been up, Punk's been up, and it's just been going like it's the only collection that's been so it's been nice.
Yeah, I don't think punks are just going to straight line to 100.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to be like that. I think it's going to be a slow and steady as the year goes on.
Yeah.
Oh
it's
yeah.
Pretty... oh yeah. I just love Ovi. I'm just obsessed with it, dude. You nailed it. I mean, this 3D glasses buy is absolutely crazy. I absolutely love to do it. But in other news, in other NFT news, actually, there's honestly not that much going on. But thankfully, our boys here at Nifty Portal seem to have dropped some important news with regards to Nifty Portal. I was starting to wonder when my 19 Nifty Portal NFTs were gonna come to fruition and something's gonna happen. Well, it looks like today is the day. I'm just playing, by the way. Obviously.
Oh, dude, you're right there with the biggest bag holders in our project saying, are these guys gonna do a damn thing? Like, are they even working? Do these guys work? That's the question that everybody asks us. And it's like, no, we just go travel to luxurious islands and hang out and sit on the beach, dude. What are you expecting? What, like any good NFT project manager, that's the playbook. You launch it, you generate money, and then you just disappear for a bit. You go on vacation because it was difficult work leading up to that drop, and so you just got to disappear.
I think that's fair. I mean, this is a fair statement. I mean, but now it seems like you've gone through the second phase because you have taken your vacation. I saw you guys go to the Bahamas, and
so we did launch this site, the upgraded version of the site today, and it's more than just a site. It is the second phase of our business, I would say, and with a focus on NFTs specifically. So today, as part of this, if you go to the nifty.com and go to the claim page there, you can type in the password phase 2, PHASETWO, and you'll be able to claim the NFT that we have today. So there's free NFTs. All of these will be free. Right now, it's all custodial. If you go to your profile there, you'll have your NFT that you collected. We just thought that it would be, we also agree, there's been a lot of free NFT activity as well. And we wanted to use NFTs as a platform for a lot of our marketing that we have going forward, including for our upcoming NFT drop. So what we did was we built a custodial NFT site. It's on Polygon. But it's easy to mint. You only need an email to sign up. You don't even need a wallet, and you can claim these NFTs over the next few weeks. We have multiple NFTs. You were at the what's effectively kind of our roadmap, which is the phase 2 page. Each day, one of these is going to reveal, and there's going to be an NFT with details about that roadmap item. Sort of giving you visibility into what's coming down the pipeline. So over the next 3 weeks, we'll be doing drops with each of these items happening, and you can collect them. And for people that collect the whole set / series, you'll be able to. There's things that's going to unlock within the ecosystem. So this is just the first day. We just dropped it. We wanted to make it as simple as possible for people to go claim those individual NFTs. We hired an in-house artist. Someone asked who that is. Right now he has a pseudonym, Mr. DL, but we'll eventually probably release information about who he is. We have a couple of other artists that we brought in-house as well. And yeah, we just thought, like we wanted to do something that was NFT native and NFT centric. So it's live. People can sign up, and whenever there's a claim, there will be an email that goes out to people to let them know that they can go claim it. You don't need to connect a wallet. You don't need to do anything like that, but you can connect your wallet, and there will be other things that you can do as a result of that. But right now, we just wanted to make it as easy as possible for people to claim, and this leads into other stuff that we're going to be dropping. But we just thought it'd be cool to have a platform that anyone can access, anyone can collect, and interact with. So that's what we're focused on. In terms of some of these milestones, they're going to be focused on our NFT specifically, where those experiences are unlocked by our NFT, which is linked on the top of the site, which is the portal. Those are going to, when you connect your wallet, which you don't need to do today, but if it sees that you have a portal in your wallet, it's going to unlock other experiences within that website. So that's the way that's going to operate. So if you own them, you connect your wallet within the settings area. It's going to know that when we end up launching other NFTs as well, all of that's going to be just automatically tracked through the site with your account. But we wanted to make it as easy as possible for anybody to get started and start collecting. So that's what it is. You can just head over to the nifty.com, sign up and claim using the code phase2, PHASETWO. And I have that pinned to my profile if you're trying to find that.
I love that. Definitely check it. I did it right away. When I saw before even asking us what was up, always ape first, ask later, but it's free, so it's not much of an aping. But all I had to give you guys was my email. Totally fine with that. I mean, I've put my email into your stuff months ago, so I was already connected. But yeah, it's pretty smooth. And so it's cool. So it's non-custodial and that's why I was asking you guys. I was like, you guys are holding on to it. So it's kind of like your own platform for like your own POAPs in a way, and like being able to reward your own, audience and whatnot. That's pretty cool. I mean, Pio, in your words, like, maybe you want to explain to us like what, so phase 2, is that the name of the project?
So basically, yeah, the way I would look at it is if you look at last year, right, we minted the NFT in January 2022. We worked really and focused a lot on content for the better part of the year, right? The second phase marks, us for the past, call it 5, 6, 7 months, really just focusing on building NFT, like our project related ecosystem. And for the rest of this year and beyond, we're just really focused on our NFT projects. So when I say our NFT projects, I mean the portal, the Nifty portal NFT, which you can get to, that's linked to the top. And that's going to give people access to mint Bodagos, which is Easy's profile picture collection that's going to be dropping on Solana. And then you'll be able to burn the Nifty portal for the ETH PFP that we're dropping after that. And everything's going to go through moving forward. All snapshots, all value will be driven towards the ETH PFP and the Bodagos.
Giving a lot of information there.
I like
PFP.
that. We like our alpha on Rug Radio, so...
Yeah. So to us, the second phase is just us having a singular focus. Like, obviously, we're not going to stop making content. We're really dialed in with our content, our morning show, our newsletter, other stuff. We're really dialed in on that now, just like you guys are. And we really are just focused on being as strong of an NFT project ecosystem, the 2 projects, as we possibly can be. The portal is the key to get involved, with both. And we love this free NFT platform to introduce new people to our ecosystem, to get people having fun, to introduce cool mechanics for holders and non-holders, and just build as much hype as we can into these drops, because these are the things that we're insanely focused on. And we want to be a really fucking notable and strong NFT project ecosystem, period. That's our goal for this year and beyond, period.
I like that a lot. I've been wondering for a minute, obviously as a friend, a holder, but also as someone in media, right? In the space, I saw you tweet about that, Pio, yesterday, saying like you follow all like media people and brands in the space because you want to see what else everyone else is doing. I've been wondering for a minute, like where you would take things next as a brand, because obviously you're known for the morning show, kind of like how we started, like, it was Gem Web3 Anchor Show, then we're growing out of that, right? With Rug Radio, now Rug Radio is not just one show, right? It's like 67 creators, bunch of different things going on, and a lot of different parts of the ecosystem. But in order to grow the ecosystem, it requires like perhaps the next set of collection, whatever you're doing next. I was really wondering where you would take it away from like also the ERC 1155. Now you're saying it's going to be a burn later down this year after the Solana mint into PFPs, which I found really cool and smart to move out of that, like the 1155 into a 721. NFT. I'm sure, Nick, that I'm sure you guys have been thinking about this a lot over time. Given actually Blur, you can't trade 1155s yet, right? That must. Yeah, I just realized that. I wonder when they're gonna add that.
I mean, somehow we got locked into still receiving royalties though due to the 1155. So I'm like kind of okay with that for now. But yeah.
No, go ahead.
If I could add anything, yeah, I mean, we got lucky with the ERC 1155. We're really, really excited to enter the PFP side of the market. And I know people are saying that like, like some PFPs aren't doing that well right now. To me, the ones that are executing properly, like at the end of the day, they're still rising to the top. You see what Bored Ape Yacht Club's doing. You see Pudgy Penguins, D-Gods. There's so much opportunity. All that matters is execution. And just to kind of put a bow on what I said before, us kind of really being focused on our NFT project ecosystem, we want to make sure that there's a through line and we fully leverage our content in this plan. So you'll see us having our content integrated with the release of this stuff, just like we did this morning, how we dropped the video and dropped and drop the code on the show. We're going to have that, integrated to use the content as a tool to get the word out in a big way of the projects that we have coming out. And here's the video right here. We're just excited about it. Go ahead, Nick.
No, I mean, that's it. Like, we wanted to make it as simple as possible with the first step, which is like literally claim a free NFT. As simple as that. Get started there. We have so much stuff planned in the roadmap. We really put a lot of effort into figuring out what we have a whole schedule planned of drops and all sorts of things, but it was just like you start with something simple, and for right now, it's really just go claim, and it's as easy. We wanted to make it as easy as possible for that with no cost to the end user. I saw a lot of people saying, "Hey, can I put this in my own wallet?" We've discussed that, and that there's a good chance that inevitably happens, that you're going to be able to mint it to your own wallet. We have that all coded within the contract that we've built. But for now, we wanted to just make it as easy as possible, because I think what happened was I texted my mom and I said, "Hey, go collect your first NFT." And she just was able to go do that. And that's the foundation of kind of what we're thinking about, is saying, hey, is there a way to bring in people that like aren't familiar with this space, don't know how to use a wallet or any of those other things, and get them in the habit of collecting things? We'll see what happens. This is one giant experiment, but I think it's pretty straightforward for them. And she was able to go claim it in a minute, and that's the goal.
I love the John Wick part. That was so awesome.
Yeah, we love the video, and here, that part of the video highlights the two most important roadmap items. And I mean, look, we're thrilled. Like Nick said, no one's really done it like this before. So obviously, Farouk commenting, shout out to Farouk. So obviously, we're seeing what happens. But just to kind of let you guys know, like today, I've already viewed it as a massive success. We're really excited about how everyone has responded. The numbers are looking phenomenal. And, the number one thing I want to make sure that I communicate to everyone is that everything that we do, including this free NFT platform, this video, this content, the tweet thread, everything is made with the intention of making the portal the key to the whole thing. And then subsequently the Solana profile picture collection Bodagos, and what you'll burn the portal for, which is the ETH collection. So the portal's the starting point. It'll get you access to the Bodagos, and then you'll burn it for the ETH PFP. And we want those NFTs, whatever you want to call them, the ETH NFTs, the PFPs, the premium NFTs, whatever you want to call it. We want everything to drive attention, interest, value, for lack of a better term, to those. And that is our focus for this year and beyond. Like, we want to have one of the most legit NFT ecosystems in the whole NFT space. That is our singular goal, and we're fucking excited about it.
I like that. You seem determined. That's fire. I love that. In the words of the great Mando,
It's fire.
and we absolutely love it.
We gotta get sound effects like that. They're crushing it with sound effects next.
You're
If you want
outperforming
to
us with sound
download
effects.
a bunch of them, just go to this funny website called gmjams.lol, and we're switching it up for everyone. We're making it so everyone you can just go and click on any, you want breaking news. We have every sound effect on there away for check it out. But so back to what you guys are doing. I mean, this is really cool. So just a lot of questions about the websites and the link. Okay, as usual, security reminder: don't click links. Nifty, Nick, and Nick and Pio are not going to DM you. The Nifty portal team is not going to DM you. They're not going to ask you to buy something. It's clearly free.
There's no crypto wallet necessary.
No crypto wallet necessary, so you don't have to sign any message. There's no Ether, Solana, or any other cryptocurrency necessary. No Dogecoin, nothing. It's a free mint. All it takes is your email, and I'm assuming that they're also not going to send you an email after that asking you to connect your wallet to anything. So be careful, please, when it comes to that. And it's
someone. I also see comments about mobile. There has been issues that people have reported on it, especially if you use mobile Chrome. It works for me on Safari, but we're going to do some browser testing to make sure it works. But all you got to do is sign up with your email.
How long do people have to claim this first free one?
All day.
Until is there a cutoff?
Midnight.
Midnight. Okay. So
yeah,
so
I
make
think
sure
we set it to midnight for tonight.
Before that, there you go. And it's right there. I mean, the website is pinned. I pinned it on the Twitter space and retweeted myself so people can find it. It's out there, and I absolutely love to see that. And then it looks like there's going to be a second claim tomorrow. Is that what it says on?
Yeah,
on
there will be a claim tomorrow is the next one, and then there may be more this week. We want if you go to the homepage, it says free NFTs almost daily.
You got to listen. I love the whole like you got to tune into the show to get rewarded. Like, listen, we're all about that. I mean, you guys, when we announced Stubbs, you guys were sharing shared that. I saw that and Signal was talking about it too. I mean, we're pretty much going out with it this week. We've been waiting for a little bit. We got pretty busy, so it's tough to push out. But I know what it's like, and it's just like, look, like you want to drive people to your show. At the end of the day, you work so hard on putting the content out, and at the end of the day, like to me, it's like may as well reward the people that are there live, right, and that are listening and then investing their time into you guys.
It's also
and we love what
making
you're
it
doing
as
with
easy
that,
as
man.
possible.
Yeah, it's important. And I don't know if you guys had any like questions for the boys here while we have him. I guess we turned this into a last minute guest.
Like, I feel like I'm really shilling here. Like I'm gonna be honest. Like I feel I have guilt deep inside of me right now.
Hey, you know what? You guys, sometimes I even force Mando and Ovi to shill their shit. Like sometimes like it is what it is. We gotta talk about our stuff. I get caught sometimes not talking enough about what we're doing at Rug Radio, I find. And then people are like, what the hell? Like all this is going on. I didn't know. But it's our jobs. I did like we gotta put it out there. I mean, we create content all the time for other people and we talk about other people's stuff and we forget that we're also building dope shit. Like all of us on here, we're the DJ's Red Guy Eco, which is one of the most fun ones out there. I love what we're doing. And I've obviously been a fan of you guys and what you're doing. And it's funny because I just realized like you guys launched January 2022. We did as well. Like we pretty much launched our NFTs like at the same time. Yep. I think it was a couple days apart, honestly. It's pretty wild. So look, like, and I think you got to support, especially when it comes to media in the space. We need good content. Though you did self-proclaim yourself the kings of NFT content. Sweet.
I doth proclaim, and I apologize. And now that I'm here on this show, I feel a little bit guilty about that. But that wasn't
like
me.
A jester.
Look at OSS webcam. Look at my mic. How can you even think about that?
It was proclaimed by another guy that I don't know who even like what that person was, but he sounded very king-like. Sounded like royalty.
Dude, I love it. I love it. As the kings of NFT content, we hereby proclaim the continuation of our sensational NFT morning show, Dangerous Resort Island Investigation, and 5-star hotel bathtub interviews. My only question is, Mando, OSF, when bathtub interview? I mean, if you've seen the one of Pio and Nick, you guys have got to recreate that one.
I wanted to share a room in Austin. He DK'd me for the first time ever. So I don't know if we'll ever do that again. We've been doing it for years. We just never documented it. And now I just don't know if we'll be able to put it on the internet.
Most meetings you're saying went down in bathtubs.
Most meetings, yeah, daily.
Yeah, this is how they decided to buy the 72 apes at like a 3 ETH average in the first place. So last year they were taking a bathtub together, and they thought, why not buy 72 Bored Apes? I mean, right?
Yeah. Before we get into our bunk beds, we normally have a bath, discuss the trades for the next day, and then we execute them in the morning.
And retrospect, that did age pretty well. I mean, that's pretty cool. All right, well that's a lot of fun, guys. That's honestly a whole lot of fun. And so, if I understand well, everything you're building from Bodargo buddies to the ETH PFP, those are meant to drive traffic and attention to the media. You're using kind of like the PFPs and the projects to drive attention and to raise awareness, to drive that attention back into the media, which is all going to be like within your own website platform. And like, how are you thinking about it?
The way I think about it, and I want to hear Nick's take on this too, but the way I think about it is at the end of the day, like just like you guys, we make kick-ass content that we think is kick-ass content, and we're not going to stop, and we're never going to stop, and we're going to use it to our advantage. But we're an NFT native organization, and NFT projects just flat out are the lifeblood of NFT native organizations, with the community 1000% at the forefront. We view this free NFT platform as a way of expanding our community, but the core community, if you listen to the video that we dropped today, we kind of, we don't say this in an on the nose way, but we say it in kind of a metaphorical way. At the end of the day, the focus is singularly on our NFT projects. We want to have literally one of the most kick-ass, like name a competitor, I want to take them on, one of the most competitive, kick-ass NFT ecosystem. Starts with the portal. when you have the portal, you get to Mina Bodago, then you burn the portal for the ETH PFP. Then we have 2 PFP projects. And that's, if you look at the roadmap that we released, what lies ahead on phase 2, you can kind of discern what we're thinking about in some ways, or you will be able to as we release those full color items and names over the next 3 weeks. But at the end of the day, we're focused on dominating NFTs and our NFT ecosystem and rewarding our community. And we're going to use our kick-ass content, and we're not going to stop making content, but we are about NFT projects that we are releasing this year and beyond.
So what you asked, Farouk, you were like, is it using the portal to drive traffic to the show? I think about it a different way, which is how do we deliver as much value as possible to the portal holders? And then the way that we deliver that is our platforms, including the one that we just launched, as well as the show. That's the way. It's not that the PFP drives traffic, awareness, anything else like that. It's that we deliver value using our platforms to those portal holders. And so this platform is just one of those ways. The content, which we'll expand upon as well, is one of those ways. But ultimately, it's about driving value back to those holders. And that's also why we release this as custodial. It's why we launched it on Polygon. It's because we don't want to, we don't immediately want to just drop a bunch of new things. We want to be able to drop new things without people being like, wait, what is how does this all tie together? It all goes back to that one thing, basically, and which is the portal. And if you come to the site, if you don't have money or whatever it is, and you want to participate, we want to make it so you can participate for free. But keep in mind, we're going to deliver things there of which the entire focus is delivering value back to the portal holders, and that'll come through the site, that'll come through our content, and that's the way that we view it. The portal is really it's not a huge, it's not the largest audience. We think it's actually relatively small as a percent of everything. So we think that our platforms are the things that have the ability to grow audience, and that the portal holders just end up benefiting from that. And that's what this is all about, is driving awareness of that. It's as simple as that, and make it as easy as possible for people to collect and have fun within the ecosystem without any friction.
I love that. That's sick. Well, good luck with all that. Seems like you found your thing, and you're going all in with it. I listened to you on Friday. You were excited about announcing it today. And I know it gets stressful on the announcement day. I could hear a little bit of you guys this morning. You all were like, we got.
I was coding till 2 a.m. So I want to be clear. I coded a large portion of this, but we had an incredible team. The Dev and Sequoia on the contract side. We have I have Abid and Monty on our Rails team. We have on the art side, we had a web design team. We have Mr. DL is what I've been calling him, our anonymous artist, which has been creating artwork. But yeah, I was in there coding and reviewing pull requests, and I'm on the. It's actually unacceptable the degree of involvement I had with the code. And so if there's any flag to throw here, it's how much coding I've done on this. I'd like to change that, because this is just unhealthy. Last week, I was coding till midnight every night. Not a good thing.
Yeah, you're gonna have to delegate
that. ChatGPT, man.
ChatGPT.
Literally, people in the comments so last night I was like, hey, any CSS experts? Fortunately, one of the devs on the team ended up showing up and putting in extra hours last night and fixing it. But I was like, hey, are there any people that are familiar with Tailwind CSS? This for the framework we use. And everyone replied, they were like, dude, just chat GPT it. And I was like, I can't be like, hey, chat GPT, my site doesn't work, fix it. I'm sorry.
It's not how it works.
Not that simple.
But we, we're thrilled with our team. We want to get Nick some more support on the dev side, but the fact that he can do it himself just makes he's such a fucking champion. I just wanted to shout out XP, who came through working last night at midnight his time in the UK. I needed those fake tweets where people said saying that he's shitting his pants over our projects and all that. And I knew just who I could go to. And XP he's like, oh, you mean like this? I was like, you don't have to change a damn thing. These are all perfect. He made Balaji say, fuck Bitcoin. I need this. So that was a good one.
Dude, I died. Yeah, you guys are good with the content stuff. Just quickly for the people listening, it's on the Nifty, TheNifty.com/claim. It's completely free. There's nothing to buy. There's nothing to connect. Whatever. Make your account. I did it. You guys can do it easily. Also, speaking of which, rug.fm/rewards. We're almost at 2,000 people opted into the rewards program. So make sure you use code today. The code is brilliant. See, I didn't pick it because when I pick it, it's more obvious to find. But I guess that's the word today that Jazz decided to go with. And Mando, if I'm not mistaken, Stubbs is tomorrow. Is that what you were saying in the chat? Oh, you're muted. We're just seeing your lips move.
Sorry, yeah, Stubbs starts tomorrow. As in the claim for the mint pass will be tomorrow.
Let's go.
There's a lot of dope stuff happening. So here's what you do. If you're listening to this show, you start at 9 a.m., you go till 10:15, you listen to Nifty Portal, and then you take a little break. You go take a piss. You make your second coffee because you already had coffee before 9 a.m. You make a second coffee. So make sure you don't make the first one a double. And then you come into Jam Web 3 from 10:30 to 12, and then eventually maybe you can start going to work. And then you're set. That's all you need to know. For the rest of the day. Wow, this has been fun. I mean, Mando, Ovi, did you guys have any more questions for Nick and Pio? Have him? It's pretty rare. We've been talking about doing this show together for a minute, and we just did it on the whim. So
no, I'm like, there you go.
I was curious if you guys could give away anything on like what the art's going to look like and what the concept is behind it and stuff.
On the
it's going to look good.
No,
it's really good.
We're actually pretty I'd say we're like 90% done with actually the ETH PFP, but we have a sequencing. That's one of the furthest along things that we have. Bodogos, we actually pulled an Audible as well, so we got we're like
so
insanely.
Yeah, we're insanely excited about both. It's funny when things just start to come together. We've gotten incredibly lucky with we've gotten incredibly lucky with the people that we've worked with, and people have just been hitting it out of the park left and right. So we're just so excited, and we're excited to draw as much attention to this drop as possible with the free NFT platform. Nick, please go ahead.
Hold on. Nick is excited right now. All right, Nick, drop it on us. Is that alpha or breaking news? What is it?
This is alpha here. OSF. If you were gonna guess what the PFP looks like, what category are you gonna put it into, real quick? Just throw out a wild guess.
I don't know, cute furry animal.
Cartoon animal PFP. You're spot on. Dude. Like we're building a farm out here. Okay, we're building the Nifty farm. Okay, and we're not just engagement farming. We're farming our PFPs as well. So if you're wondering what it's going to look like, is it going to be a cute cartoon animal? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. So, we're going to drop that on you. If you want a cute cartoon animal that's going to blow your mind, yeah, you're going to want to pay attention. And if you get free NFTs right now, we're going to be giving some of those away. Just to be clear, how do you think we're going to do it? Using the free NFTs that you can collect for free. It's completely free. Just like
get excited. Get excited about the drops. Let's go.
You're gonna change your names to like Nick, like free own in your names on Twitter to both of you. And I want all
Super Bowl ad incoming.
Yeah, kicks. You guys, by the way, speaking of Super Bowl ad, in the video, Mando, it says they edited a tweet from Layden saying like should have spent $7 million on Nifty Portal.
That was one of the fake tweets. We thought that was very funny.
Let's see if he thinks it's funny. Well, I don't know.
So maybe you will both get blocked for this. But I do think it was quite hilarious. No, I think it was funny. All right, well, this is great. This is absolutely great. I mean, Nick and Pio, thank you for coming today and for spending the entire show with us. Actually, made super fun. We're wondering let's do something fun this morning, and so glad to have you guys. Definitely need to do it more often. It seems like this crossover, Rug Radio, Gem Web 3, and Nifty Portals, like the morning show, is quite a fun crossover. I mean, we have discussed a bunch of ideas in the past, but I think we're all very busy. So it's like so tough. Like I want to do it. I know Nick and Pio are down, no Matt and Ovi are down, but it's like actually applying it is so fucking hard when you got a million things going on within your own ecosystem. So we'll figure it out. Maybe one day we come up with the godfather of all shows all together or something.
We will. And I mean, thank you so much for having us. This was fantastic. You know, I'm a listener of the show. I listen to the recordings all the time. I got to hear from, you know, the macro boys over here to know I'm not crazy. And Farouk, I love hearing the way that you host the show. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Seriously.
No, I appreciate you guys. I mean, Nick, Pio, you guys are good friends. You've always supported Rug Radio. I mean, all the time. I mean, my team always like even pings me when you guys like put something out, and we just love it. So really appreciate you guys. And so it was like a no-brainer for me to just text you guys this morning and say, come on the fucking show, because it was great to have you all. So congratulations, Nick and Pio. Check him out. thenft.com/claim to get your free NFT. They said it here. You have until the end of day, midnight Eastern Standard Time, I'm assuming, because the boys are in New York. So
Yes, sir.
make sure you get your free claim. And with that, we'll see y'all tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for another episode of Gem Web 3 on Rug Radio. Let's go.
It's a beautiful day to have a beautiful day. GM on this beautiful day. Good morning to Web3 with Barocco, Seth, and Nando. Tuning live at 10:30, and it's all on Rug Radio. It's a beautiful day. Have a beautiful day. GM. Rug Radio.
And space and the broadcast. 1 second.